Hello, Universians. This is Hotbox the Podcast, and I'm your host, Dot. Yeah, man. How's everybody doing out there? I hope I'm coming in nice and clear. I'm probably not, but we're working on it. Everything is always a work in progress with me. Yeah, so what's up? Miss you guys. Glad to be back talking to you. First things first, let's jump right into it because I got to be to work soon, and until you guys help me get more listeners, I'm going to be working for the motherfucking man. So this is your fault, guys. Anyway, Dame Dollar, right? That shit was crazy. Let me give a hand to the Portland Trailblazers for advancing to the next round of the 2019 NBA playoffs. I don't care what nobody say. That's the craziest shot I've seen. Like, from so far with such confidence, it was just amazing. And I know a lot of my listeners, some tell me, I don't really take to the basketball stuff. But if you know me, you know how much I love basketball. And on this show, I try to tie everything in together. So I'm going somewhere with this, guys. Just stick with me, okay? But yeah, super calm, clutch, ice and veins, assassin, right in a 6'9" guy's face in Paul George, which was a really good contest. If you really watch basketball like that, it's not much. I think I would have rushed him because he had been hitting from there. I mean, he had 47 at that point. I would have. You have to put the ball on the ground. I'm not going to just let you set up and shoot a three in my face. I mean, you don't want to foul in that situation, obviously, but you got to make it a bit tougher. And I think Paul George shot away from that. I mean, and it's hard to say that because it, again, was a great contest. On his press conference, he said it was a bad shot. Sounds a little like hating, but I mean, you hit a shot in my face like that, I just live with it. That's a bad shot for anybody else other than Steph and Dame Dollar. Damian Lillard, if you don't know who that is, for my non-basketball watchers. It was a good game. I loved the back and forth. Here's where I'm going with this, though. Today, I was in a situation where it was a bit argumentative. I won't go into it because I try to shy away from bad vibes and stuff. And just seeing Russell Westbrook, the way he plays, the way he carries himself. He's a great talent, don't get me wrong, but I think he has just a horrible... For one, if we're talking basketball, his basketball mind is... Because he's so athletic, I don't want to say it's dumb. I mean, I want to say 4-12 since Durant left in the playoffs. So I'll take from that what you will. But he's a veteran, and he should know how to close out a 15-point lead. Anyway, outside of basketball, I think the man just... And people say he's a great guy. I'm not gonna take this time to shit on him particularly, because as far as basketball is concerned, I shit on him a lot. I just don't like the way he plays the game. It seems forced. Basketball, just like life, should be fluid. It should be, when to pick and choose your spots, and he doesn't do that very well. And I think it's obviously arrogance, and it's this mentality that I can just run through everything, and life doesn't work like that. So, on the flip side, I look at Damian Lillard, and he seems super peaceful, super zen. All that Highside and Westbrook and the Thunder were doing in game, They only won one game. Whatever game they won, the one game they won, they were rocking the baby, calling Dame small and all this and all. He didn't really take to it. He didn't talk any shit. He just played his game. And ultimately, he is victorious. But my thing with Westbrook is this need to show up people and be rude and mean. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't. Basketball, sports is a place of rough. You should be able to handle the shit talking. But the way Westbrook treats the media, the way he just carries himself in general with this air of arrogance without the results, that's what's troubling to me. If I'm a GM or a coach, I'm looking at that and I'm like, I can't work with that. Now, a great coach should be able to work with anybody. A great GM should be able to make the moves that fit with Russell. But I tend to think maybe Russell is just toxic. Now, I don't know his personal life, but I'm speaking strictly basketball. Maybe he's just a toxic person on the court. And I feel like it's changing PG toxic. You see how they deal with the media? For one, that's your job. You got to talk to. You play basketball for a living, bro. Come on now. Why do you think I'm doing a podcast? So I don't have to work for someone else. Granted, you do work for the owners or whatever, but you're getting paid millions to play basketball. To answer questions about basketball, that's the dream, bruh. So when you get up there with this disdain, you lost. It happens. Answer the questions. Why'd you lose? You're teaching these kids that if I'm in a bad spot, it's cool for me to be unprofessional. They're not asking you questions about your personal life. They're asking questions about your job, which is your job to answer questions. Anyway, so I look at that and back to my morning. It was just a very toxic situation. So I wonder, and it could be me. It could be I and this individual are just toxic together. And I don't know what it is, but I have a couple people in my life that if you were to ask them, they would say I'm the toxic one. I'm arrogant. I'm selfish. I'm a user. I'm a liar. I don't keep on my promises. And overwhelmingly, though, I would say the majority of the people in my life don't feel that way about me, especially the ones that matter most and those closest to me. But I like to be objective and I want to think about those things. But then I'm thinking like, maybe it's not an individual thing. Maybe it's not, maybe two people can just be toxic together. Three people, the situation, whatever it may be. And I have to look outside myself and outside what this person is saying to me and know that there are people out there who love and care for me. That's my bad. My peace is my problem. My happiness is my problem. And I shouldn't be swayed by naysayers in my life who come at me in that fashion. That's on me. But then I think about it and I'm like, what about me makes, and this is why I go back to Russell Westbrook. Some people just aren't happy people. Russell Westbrook strikes me as one of those people. On the court, anyway. Again, I hear he's a very nice individual to his close people, and I'm speaking on the court. And I'm using that as the analogy for you can't, sometimes people are having bad times and they project that onto you. And you got to be aware of that. And when that you do sense that, you have to be objective in the situation and realize this person, this institution, these people aren't attacking you. They're attacking themselves of what they don't like in themselves. So I was almost thrown off and I wasn't going to even do this podcast, especially because I got to be to work soon. But no, why? That has nothing to do with me. My happiness is my problem. And I know if I didn't do what I wanted to do, I would be unhappy. I would go into work unhappy because I don't want to be there. And I would have spent another day not furthering what I really wanted to do. Don't get me wrong, I actually do love my job. But working a 9 to 5 for somebody else is not, for the rest of my life, is not where I want to be. And I don't want to teach my son. Well, I don't want to. It's good to work. I'm not knocking 9 to 5s. You got to do what you got to do. Just for me, I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to work my own hours. I want to wake up when I want to wake up, go to sleep when I want to go to sleep, put in work for myself. That's my dream. I think that's the American dream in general, is to just work for yourself. So ultimately, like I was saying, if you're going through something in your morning or in your day or whatever, don't let people knock you off your journey to happiness. Take a moment, which I did, and you will flail in the wind. You're not going to be good at it. It's a practice and learned behavior to take what's being said to you objectively, try to work on those things that you agree with, and dismiss those things that are just hurtful attacks. A lot of people will say, well, no, I say that's being full of shit, and that's a reason to just be a bad person. But no, you don't owe anybody an explanation of why you are the way you are. Just like that person who's upset with you doesn't owe you an explanation. What they do owe you is respect. And once the situation gets disrespectful, it's not kosher anymore. There's nothing to do. There's no more to say. If you are in a situation where it's immovable, and whether you go under it, through it, over it, it's not working, you have to examine yourself and more so that situation. Never the person, because the person is going to be who they're going to be. You can't change people. All you can do is react the way you're going to react. And that's why I'm here talking to you guys today. It's a very small victory, but it's a victory nonetheless that I will get this recorded. Hopefully the sound comes out right. And whether or not it does or it's not a good episode, I did it. I got it done. I will feel better about myself when I get to work. You got to do the same. Be happy. Anyway, all right. Moving on. I was looking at this quote. It goes into what we were saying, so I'll just read it. Sometimes walking away has nothing to do with weakness and everything to do with strength. My peace was bothered this morning. And instead of walking away, figuratively and literally, I fell in it. But not like I would usually do. Lately, I've been able to catch myself and bring myself back to a place of peace. But there's strength in walking away. That's probably the strongest thing you can do, even when you know you're absolutely right, or you feel you're absolutely right. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, that should be even more reason to walk away. There's a quote by Bruce Lee that says, I'm going to paraphrase, I don't have it on me, that essentially you're a fool if you react to everything that's said to you. You only got so much energy in your life. And I don't know. That's exactly why I'm trying to make things happen, because needing people, like, that's a very big, if you're in someone's life that they need you, be humble with that, because that's the best position you could ever be in, because nobody wants to have to ask anybody for anything. Trust me. If everybody could be out here getting by on their own supply and their own time and just not needing people, that's the best life. Again, I don't know if that's the best life to live, because needing people and being needed is essential to human interaction. Like, my son needs me and I need him, and my parents and my friends and so forth and so on.